Politics can sometimes involve ragging the puck, skating in circles, and sometimes being offside. Today on Parliament Hill, politicians squared off on the real thing, taking different sides as the Stanley Cup Finals starts. Joining me from Vancouver, the epicenter of all Canada's dreams for hockey playoff glory, is Davies, a New Democrat MP. And here in the studio, the very brave, some would say very foolish, Scott Sims from Newfoundland, wearing the Boston Bruins, the evildoers. Scott, isn't it hard enough being a liberal these days without being a Bruins fan too?
You're not going to put me on an endangered species list, are you, or anything like that? Well, you know what? Here's the thing.
What is this all about? Yeah, give us a story.
Okay, you know, for 30 years, I've been a Boston Bruins fan. I'm faithful to the core when it comes to the Bruins. The other thing is, I mean, when it comes to my riding, Bonavista, Gander, Grand Falls, Windsor, we have one player. He's Michael Ryder. He's from Bonavista. And this B does stand for Bonavista as well as Boston. So we're bringing the cup home. There's no doubt about it.
All right, Don, you get the easy side of this argument. What's this game doing to Vancouver?
Well, you know, I don't think I've seen Vancouver this excited since probably the gold medal hockey game, and in fact I think this maybe eclipses that moment. You know, Scott says that he's been a fan for 30 years. Well, we've been waiting 41 years in Vancouver to win the cup, and you know, the sense that the Canucks are actually going to do it this year is very strong, and you know, people are just thrilled. You know, people are missing work, people are shutting down businesses, and everybody wants to be near a TV screen when the puck drops, and it's just a wonderful time to be in Vancouver.
Sounds like the gross domestic product's about to take a hockey hit. All right, Scott, what is it? Let's step back a little bit from the partisan rivalry or the rivalry of hockey here and say, what is it about a game on ice that captivates people in June, just as like the summer heat wave hits here? It's like 30 degrees. What is it? What
We're not talking about curling either. We're
no.
talking about hockey. You know what? I think it's part of the big dream. I mean, when you look at all the memories that are Canadian. I mean, how many people remember the election that was won in 72, 74, minority governments, but, you know, very few people. But everyone remembers, you know, when Henderson scored the goal. And everyone remembers when Mario scored the goal, and I think it was 86 or whenever it was. And all these great memories that Canada has, if you look at them, they're all based around these great hockey moments, and it could be any time of the year, really. So I guess we just extend this into June because it's like this extra long holiday that we get watching the Stanley Cup playoffs.
What do you think, Don? What's the psychology driving Canada into this frenzy?
Well, I think it's one thing that Canadians have felt, I think, identifies us on the world stage as something that we're the best at. And so it has the ability to unite us from coast to coast in something that we just feel that we're world class in. You know, the sense of history of families sitting around radios in the 50s and 60s, watching Hockey Night in Canada on Saturday nights is with a lot of people, and we've managed to pass that on from generation to generation. So it's part of our culture. You know, I do want to say that people also remember the ball going between Bill Buckner's legs, another Boston athlete, and we're going to be shooting for the 5-hole on Tim Thomas all series long because of that. So.
You do know, of course, Scott, about the Olympic curse or the Olympic glory that happens. Every time a host city in Canada has had the Olympics, the next year that host city has won the Stanley Cup. So Boston, last I looked, didn't have the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, as if there's some kind of hoax that hangs over this whole place. I mean, yeah, and Babe Ruth had a hoax that was smashed a few years ago, too. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, you talk about some of the players. A lot of people say that Vancouver, you know, they're Canada's team. Okay, that's not true. That's not true, because here's the deal. There are 19 players on Boston, regular players. 14 are Canadian. That's more than there are more Canadians on the Boston Bruins than there are on the Vancouver Canucks. I'm sorry to let everybody in on that little secret. So, and including the 3 big players. You took it the 2 Swedes and the American that play for Vancouver Canucks.
I want to end this.
Well, you know what? You know what? It is true that the best part of Boston is a Vancouver boy, Milan Lucic. That is true. But and we all know that Liberals had their bell rung in the last election. So I can see why Scott's a little bit confused about this. But Vancouver is the only Canadian team playing. Their name is the Canucks, and we got to be getting behind Canada's team to bring the cup home to Canada, where it's not been for I think it's 17 years. So everybody's turned to the Canucks or Canada's team.
Don and Scott, I want to propose a quick wager before I let you go, that the loser of this, Boston or Vancouver, the loser has to read a member's statement in the House of Commons praising the other person's team, wearing a jersey of the opposing member's team. Is that a deal, Don?
All right, Don, I'm up if you're up for it.
That's a deal.
All right.
I'll tell you what, I'll also throw in a Pacific salmon as well if Scott will send an Atlantic lobster our way too.
No, I'll send you Atlantic snow crab.
Okay,
How's
we'll
that?
cover this on Power Play
That'll
when the
do.
victor
That'll
is
do.
being proclaimed. 1 second quick prediction. How many games till your team wins?
Oh, that's easy. It's Boston in 6. And by the way, for the record, my cheering for the Boston is not officially on the record as officially from the Liberal Party of Canada.
Okay, I
so
understand
there you
that.
go.
Don, what's your quick prediction?
Well, we won the first series in 7, the second in 6, the third in 5, so we should be sweeping, but I'm going to predict the Canucks in 6.
All right, brave predictions all. Thank you very much. Don Davies in Vancouver, Scott Sims here in the studio.